What's up? This is Andy coming to you before Thursday Night Football, little Week 9 Thursday Night Football. We got the Tennessee Titans heading to Pittsburgh to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're new to this channel, if you're new to my videos, you're probably wondering, am I seeing a stack of noses? Is that a bunch of noses? Are those perpetual noses? The answer is yes. And why? Because on this channel, actually, I maybe shouldn't say on this channel, but in my videos at least, we live by the philosophy, sniffing is believing, because we don't dish out picks here, we dish out sniffs. And in particular, sniffs where we try to maximize the value of, like we did last week on Thursday Night Football, where we took alt overs on some of the receivers because the game played out that way. Same type of thing on Sunday. You show me the whole slate, and I'm always looking for the mismatches. There are many bettors out there. I need to reiterate something to you people. I'm not a, pro bettor. That's not me. Everyone else is a pro bettor, not me. I ain't a gambler. I'm a sniffer. There's a reason, if people come to me, I got some messages in the last couple of days about oh my God, they moved the yardage from 70 to 68. What do I do now? I don't care. I'm one of those types of people where if I'm trusting my sniff, you can take away an additional 5 yards, which is why I'm always offering those alts. I like to offer it on the exact picks that I think can go way over. So I don't sweat those little things, and there's probably a pro sports bettor just going nuts like the whole value is in the 2 yards. I'm not here to bet 5,000 things across the board. I'm looking for particular sniffs, and in certain games, it aligns properly. It aligns properly, like the GameCube logo that I just learned a couple days ago is perfectly symmetrical and configured in a way where every angle makes the initials GC. It will never get respect, but that really was brilliant, whoever came up with that. In this game, I'm happy to report there could be some instances where you can expose some alt overs. I'm going to give you some of my favorite picks on the game. I have one absolute favorite, but yes, I know when you guys come here, you're looking to be Fester Adams looking for the vault. You're looking for the Richie Rich vault up in Rich Mountain. You're hoping that the room opens up and one little $5 parlay is going to change your whole life. So if that is the case, I will oblige. I will try to do what I can. Now, on games like Monday night, there are just limited opportunities, because when I'm looking for players who I can take alts on, it's got to be players where the sportsbook, they're a little lower on them for whatever reason it may be. Maybe they've had a bad couple weeks in a row, guys like Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, or guys like Gabe Davis. I don't have a reason for why Gabe Davis's numbers are repeatedly so low. I guess it's because he throws huge stinkers where it's like boom or bust. But if you know the right spots, you know he's capable of going way over. We have some potential situations like that in this game, which is a good thing. Basically, it's as good as the Bet365 promotion I've been yapping and yapping on. I'm telling you about it because it's a good one. I'd swap it out for a bad one if it wasn't good. You got to be over 21, except in Kentucky where you can be 18, and you got to be located, if you're in the U.S., in a state that has Bet365 and sports betting is permitted. You'll see 3 links that will take you directly to the promotion. One's for Canada, one's for the US, and one is for international users. So definitely check that out. And always remember, if you or anybody you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Somebody can help you out there. But I will help you out here. So here's the deal. We got this Will Levis situation where he came out slinging. He came out slinging all over the field, and he threw for 4 touchdowns. It was a no-pressure week. This is a little different. He's coming in here starting in primetime at Pittsburgh. As far as a spread, don't look at me. I'm not picking a spread for this one. But because of the way he was slinging that ball, deep ball after deep ball after deep ball, you're going to get opportunities to crush those overs, especially when you consider you know, Pittsburgh has a pretty stout front. They'll be adding to that this game. I think they activated Hayward off the IR today. So if you're going to beat them, it's probably going to have to be through the air. Some teams have been able to run on them, but I think in Pittsburgh, this team with that offensive line, they're probably not going to be able to run. They're going to try the classic first quarter Henry, but if they fall behind or they're just not getting anything going on the ground and you have the confidence, you know, we don't know how good he's going to be, but we've seen many. Look at Brian Hoyer all those years back when he came in relief in Cleveland. He was chucking it all over the field. Josh Gordon led the whole NFL in receiving. I think that might have been the next year. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is when you get a guy with that first gust of confidence, they sling it and they don't have a worry in the world because they haven't had that 5-interception game yet. So there's an opportunity for a guy on Tennessee, but I want to start with my favorite bet. If you're coming here and you're a normal person, I mean, we don't get many of those. We don't get many normal people. You know what I would like? I would like one standard nice bet that I will place $115 on. What can I would like to bet $115 and win $100. Well, sir, Mr. Regular Guy, I'm so happy to have you here. You know, you're far and few between around these parts. Take yourself some Deontay Johnson over on receiving yards. This guy, his whole career so far, doesn't matter who the quarterback is, whether it's Roethlisberger, Trubisky, your dad, Pickett. Look at the amount of targets that he commands every single game. He's a great target earner, and they say that is a skill, and I tend to believe it. But without Pat Freiermuth in the lineup, and unless you think Allen Robinson is siphoning all these targets or Calvin Austin is siphoning all these targets, you got two guys. You have Pickens and you have Deontay Johnson. And you guys know with those bets that I gave for the Buffalo game, the favorite part was that they mostly have Diggs and Gabe Davis. And then because there was no Knox, we focused on Kincaid because his role would expand. But right here, we have two receivers. And if you look at their targets these last 2 weeks, I will say I'm just a hair concerned that Pickens won't receive as many targets. And it's going to be like last year where, you know, it's like almost a big play or nothing. So I think Pickens might have a little bit of a boom or bust type of thing going on. But when it comes to a guy who you know he's going to be getting the looks, that's Deontay Johnson. And on top of things, Tennessee has a stout run defense. You want to know what Pittsburgh doesn't have? A good running offense or a running back that can actually move because they're still plowing Najee Harris out there 16 times a game. So it's that perfect recipe. You have a stout run defense and a pass defense that you've been able to funnel the ball against. And look, 2 weeks ago, okay, I think Pickens and Deontay Johnson both cleared their overs, and you know where I'm going with this eventually. But still, Mr. Regular Guy, you can leave now. My favorite bet on this slate is the over on Deontay Johnson receiving yards. Now we can look at some of these other things. Pickens obviously has that big play potential. We've seen it on multiple occasions over his 2 first years. He can take one and go the whole way. Now, on the other side, I got one bit of concerning news, and that was that DeAndre Hopkins didn't practice, and I don't know if that's a maintenance thing. The only times he hasn't really been reliable this year is when he was trying to fight through that injury in weeks like weeks 3, 4. But then once he got to full health, he was hogging targets. Speaking of target hogs, like Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins is another one of those. No matter who he's been with, no matter where he's been, whether it's in Arizona with Kyler Murray soaking up targets with Deshaun Watson in Houston, and now with Ryan Tannehill, he's already had some big games in an offense where nothing really is going right. And then when you see a guy like Will Levis out there chucking these bombs, he's set up to crush his over as long as he's healthy. So we do have to see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of same game parlays. You ready? Favorite bet, Deontay Johnson. Another solo bet that I like, the over on receiving yards for Jaylen Warren. Then I do like the over on DeAndre Hopkins, assuming he's all right. Now let's go into the reason you're here. because I know you hit one last Thursday. You want one, because that's what you want. You want plus 3,300s every week, because that's feasible. Always remember, if I'm hitting plus 3,300s every week, you'll never see me again. You're just going to say, remember that guy who worked for like that company for a few years? He just hit a couple massive ones and he disappeared. Why did he disappear? Because he kept hitting massive ones. So I'm obviously going with Deontay Johnson, 75 plus receiving. And honestly, if you just want to take that on its own, I'm okay with that as well. George Pickens, he's going to have to get one long one, but I'm doing 75 plus for him as well. If you want to be cautious, knock that down to 50 plus, or just take his normal over on receiving. Then DeAndre Hopkins, 75 plus receiving. If you do 75 for all three, you're looking in between like plus 2,500, plus 3,000, or something like that. Now, I will say, if you're making me knock down one of those three, it's George Pickens. So if you want to do 75, just the over on Pickens receiving yards. Now, if there's any sort of issue with Hopkins, I hope there isn't, because he's kind of key to this one. I'm not going to trust Treylon Burks to do it. I'm not going to trust Westbrook Akine. That's what happens when I start pushing for players like Mayer on Monday. I like pushing for guys with talent. We know Gabe Davis is good. We know some of these guys like Waddle, Devontae Smith, they're good. We know Javonte Williams is good. He was another alt we hit. So what I'm looking for is Jaylen Warren out of the backfield. If any of those need to be replaced, I'm going to take the alt 25 plus receiving. So those are the alts that I like. You can mix them any which way you want. We need DeAndre Hopkins to be fully healthy to really make this work, because if he's fine, 75 for Deontay Johnson, 75 for DeAndre Hopkins, and let's just do the over on George Pickens receiving. If you want to remove Pickens completely, put the 25 plus for Jaylen Warren. Those are the series of bets that I like for here. I mean, I could try to spit out a couple. Is Tajay Spears going to get a couple dinky catches? But really, I'm all about Deontay Johnson. I also think Pickens will go over his receiving. I really like DeAndre Hopkins to go over his receiving as long as he's healthy. No tomfoolery there. And I like the over on Jaylen Warren on his receiving as well. You could always get more picks over at Odd Shopper Premium, where they do sweat out every single yard. If something's moving 2 yards, there's like alarms going off. You see this thing? I get an alert right here. You might think this is like a hockey goal horn. No, this is alerts. If there's a 2-yard change at Odd Shopper, this is like the bat phone that they send to me. So that's what I got for you here on this Thursday Night Football. Good luck to you. Hey, better luck to me. Make sure you're subscribed here to the Odd Shopper channel, along with my YouTube channel, where I do some shows myself. Also, follow me on social media. It's at Andy Francis. You don't have to go digging. You don't have to find it. It's Andy Francis, the way you see on your screen on the bottom left. That's my name on every social media platform. Why should you follow me? Because then you can send me a video like our Parlay pirate.
Ye be sniffing a parlay.
Still loving that. I just wanted to include it in this one football video too, just in case he's only a football guy. It was Halloween. I said you dress like a pirate. Then I'm putting it on the show. I put it on the hockey show. Now I'll add it to the football show. Parlay. I'll see you tomorrow for hockey, or I'll see you on Saturday for Week 9 bets. Take it easy.